Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome back to part 2 of the Final Fantasy XI Let's Play. I'm recording this just a few days after the first part because, quite frankly, I want to have as many of these parts recorded ahead of time as possible, especially since I'm only doing this once, maybe twice a week. We didn't get super far in the last part, so I probably want to get going immediately in this part. We took some first steps, explained some things that you're probably going to want to know around the opening city-state, so if you have not watched that video, I would highly recommend it, because I'm not going to be retreading on most of that ground unless it is pertinent. We left off doing our city missions, our nation missions, as they're called. And these are relatively important, because we're going to need to progress those in order to unlock the Rise of Xylard expansion, which will then play in line with other expansion stories. So, pretty important in order to begin progressing that. And all we need to do in this part is actually step out into the world and finally start fighting some monsters, make our way over to a location, and trigger like a key item to be spawned in our inventory. Now, for old time's sake, I'm kind of tempted to stop and see if I can get Leaping Lizzy along the way. Back in the 2014 part, that was actually the first thing that I did, was Quest for Leaping Lizzy. So this could be Quest for Leaping Lizzy again. I wasn't going to do it, but it's like, for old time's sake, I might want to consider it. Now, I hadn't taken stock of where I actually was. I was headed out to North Gustaberg, which is not where we want to go for either the mission nor the Leaping Lizzy itself. So I'm trying to think of what I covered in the last part. If there's any addendums to that I want to cover going into this 2025 edition. I think there was like one thing I think I misspoke on in last week's episode. I think I had mentioned that you could get Zaid 2 from Rhapsodies, which you can't. That's a login one. I think you do get a Zaid from... I don't remember. I'm trying to remember where Zaid 2 is from. I'm pretty sure it mentions it in the sheet, but for these early parts, I'm largely going to be going off of memory. So I usually exit via Bestock Markets. Technically, the mines would also work, but there's something I want to check real quick, because I'm fairly certain I can join a Unity already, and you're going to want to join a Unity as fast as possible. I began mentioning this in the other part. I just don't remember what the level requirement for joining a Unity is. But Unities basically align you with one of several different NPCs in the game. And every week, the number of players who contribute towards those NPCs and contribute towards like how many people are actively a part of them and are taking place and doing content and using their leader and doing records of eminence stuff, it gives them a ranking. And the higher the ranking of your individual one, the stronger it'll be. Most people tend to pick Aparuru or Yorin Orin when they're or Yorin Orin when they're starting up. Aparuru, the better AoE healer. Yorin applying stone skins to his heals. Now I have to remember where exactly the NPC is, because Igsil here allows me to use a currency, but he is not the NPC that actually teaches me the Unity Concord stuff. So, in order to unlock it, players must have completed 10 or more Records of Eminence objectives. So, to go to our objective list, we need our completed ones. We have 12 completed. So, we, of course, are capable of doing this. We just need to set the all-for-one objective, and we should be good to go. That is this one, and this will also... Oh, no, we do. So, we set that. And then we talk to Igsil right here, or Igsley, sorry. And now it should trigger the Unity. Fortunately, the Records of Eminence are pretty good about telling you... Oh my goodness, he's doing a JoJo pose? Oh, my stomach! The vengeful witch must have put something in my... Goodness, a new recruit. Please, 1,000 pardons. Do you perhaps have the Records of Eminence objective all for... Well, that's why the cutscene's triggering, guy. Come on. Locked and loaded. A willing soul has graced my presence at last. You are willing, aren't you? To participate in Unity Concord, that is. Participate I shall. You mean it? Oh, praise the powers above. I feared it another was bound to disappoint me. To get started, I'll need you to place your signature in black right here on this doll. Everyone's using dolls for this stuff nowadays. These dolls used to be something that was horrible to see pop up in certain quests. And it's funny to me how they use them for all this stuff now. That concluded, permit me to offer a brief explanation as to what Unity Concord entails. The Adventurers Mutual Aid Network, AMON, founded this unique system to provide casual means of communication between adventurers of similar minds. Foster new friendships and strengthen old ones. Nobody uses it for that. Further your adventuring goals by coming together as one. Nobody uses it for that. Quite lofty goals indeed. Indeed. The first step in choosing which Leaders Unity you would like to join. So, there are quite a few here. There's actually more than I thought. Sylvie is the most popular, like, really, really late endgame one. I mentioned it last time, how the most people who join Sylvie are people who have obtained a trust called Ignis. And that is not a trust we will see anytime soon. It literally takes 6 months of, like, straight-up day-to-day playing to even get Ignis. So that's not happening here. Yorin Orin is my Unity on my main. I am going to go with Aparuru here, as most people I know preferred Aparuru because of the AoE healing. So I'm going to go for that. Join Aparuru's Unity. Yes. Now grip the doll grip the doll tightly and think pleasant thoughts. Excuse me? Well, A, I'm not gripping it tightly. Firmly grasp it. Hello, good adventurer. You can call me Aparuru. I've been selected to serve as the head of a Unity Runity. And can I ever say, as the head of the monastery, there can be no greater honor than... Alright, now the Cardian Workshop can finally taru something resembling a Profitaru. This is absolutely wonderful. Now we have money, all thanks to Aparuru. Hey, it's not like I'll be making bank wank. I don't like bank wank. Putting that aside, welcome to my Unitaru. We can do together whether what we couldn't do individually. Thank you, Aparuru. If you're new to the Taru speak, there's a lot of that, like, you know, double text and the adding Taru to the end of things. Since your Unity is comprised of other members, it naturally follows that you can converse with them as well. So therefore, I suggest you take the opportunity to introduce yourself. Such interactions can be established by going to the status menu and selecting Unity Info under the Unity submenu. Come to me again should you desire any further information about the inner workings of Unity Concord. Alright, so that's also going to give us our first Unity accolades. Now, I mentioned last week that you could use sparks in order to buy those shields, sell them, and make a decent amount of gil, something I should definitely do before next Sunday. I'll probably record another part before. What in that? Dude, somebody got mega power level. You're a master on... Alright, you know what? I'm not that surprised, I guess, actually. It's just, that's nutty. He's got the new player symbol, and he's got a job master. That doesn't usually happen. But you can also use Unity accolades to make gil. It's just a little bit more tedious. So the Unities can do a lot of things. There are wanted encounters, which you can do in order to earn high-level pieces of equipment. And they've actually added systems to allow you to augment these pieces as well, but that's a whole thing we don't have to get into. You won't do that literally anytime soon. You can also spend up to 100,000 accolades per week, just like the other things. What most people buy is on the last page, there's prize powder. Now, again, it's kind of a pain because you have to buy a lot more prize powder in order to make the same amount of gil. It's about 10 prize powder, 10 or 11 gil per prize powder. Which means you have to buy a lot more of it and sell it to the vendor, which, to be fair, is literally, there's a shop right there, like, behind this NPC in that building. But you can also do this. So between Unity accolades and sparks, you can earn up to 2 million gil per week. When you're brand new, again, these are very, very useful things to do. I wouldn't stress the accolades very much. Accolades do have other uses as well that you may find that you wish you saved them for. But if you feel like you need the gil in a pinch of prize powder, then this is just another option. You probably will not see me doing that very often, again, unless I find that I am very, very desperate. You can also change Unities here. And then you should also get access to Unity-related... where are they? I'm trying to remember where it all is. Unity things here. Talk to comrades in Unity chat the designated number of times. So this is one... I most of the time keep my Unity chat disabled. But whenever that's available, I will do it. Vanquish multiple enemies in non-abyssy areas. That's a free one to take, non-repeatable as well. Lizards I'm actually going to be fighting soon, so that's very good. Vermin with physical damage. I don't know if I'll be fighting vermin, but I might as well take it. Birds with physical. So bats count as birds, and you fight a lot of bats in this game. So usually worth doing that. And I forget how often those reset. Those ones definitely reset. I just don't remember how often. Vanquish bees. I will certainly be doing that. I'm not doing conflict. I'm not using a club. I'm also definitely not going to kill Tom Titchat. And then these are all the wanteds. These are for the wanted content that I mentioned earlier. But I should also, well, I guess I technically never finished the last daily one that I did because, you know, it wasn't a focus of the last video. But now, as I do content, I will actually earn the accolades, and as I earn accolades, I will actually eventually get access to having Aparuru in the party. Your Unity leader is almost always going to be a mainstay unless you have something really late game like that Ignis that I mentioned in your trust party. So, Valiniril, fantastic tank. Your Unity healer, who is very likely going to be Aparuru or Yorn Orin at this point. And then somebody else, if you have Shantoto 2 or Zaid 2 or something else, there's a lot of really good ones. But I'm probably just going to go with... well, keep in mind that I don't have Aparuru yet, so I do need to do things a little bit differently. Joaquin is good once you get the 4th slot. I'm kind of not wild about using Joaquin prior to having a 4th trust slot, which I will get as part of Rhapsody's Savannah deal. But we're actually going to make our way out, and it is evening. I am level 7, so I've got to go out a little bit before I can get to some of the notorious monsters. Now, I am going to have to resummon all of my trusts. Very often, you just level very quickly at this point in the game, so it just kind of comes with the territory. Now, I could have also grabbed a book. I mentioned those last time. You saw me kill the 3 bats. I usually like to focus on enemies that either aggro or are very easy, just because with the trusts, you know, if I'm going to aggro something anyway, like one of these quad... Oh my goodness. Look at all of those complete... Yeah, so Valinir will just one-shot both of those dudes. Keep in mind, they're easy prey. As a level 7, I am going to obliterate a lot of these, but Valinir just does that to low-level enemies anyway. So, like, if I step into the middle of this pack, there's a good chance he just one-shots all 3 of them. Yep. Yep. And again, those aren't worth a whole lot, but... I mean, I'm not going to complain about it either. The rock lizards are, well, they're lizards. The walking saplings, I believe, count as vermin, so I can do those for the Unity thing. I wouldn't focus on, like, putting aside just general, oh, yeah, I have to teach this little trick. I wouldn't focus on, like, oh, I'm not going to leave this area until I've done all the objectives for X, Y, and Z. But it's not a bad idea to just grab stuff along the way. These things are just a really low level. So, and with Valinir, literally just obliterating them, you know. Now, it would be smart for me to not kill Leaping Lizzy yet. Thief gets Treasure Hunter at level 15, if memory serves, which will increase the drop rate of items. It's a little more complicated than that. Somebody who knows Final Fantasy XI knows that it doesn't just increase drop rate. It's a little bit more specific than that, but that is the Cliff Notes version of what it does. And it would make my Leaping Boots drop. The Leaping Boots are an item that would be affected by Treasure Hunter, so it would make my life a lot easier in that regard. So, in theory, I should not stop and do that at all. It would be, well, not a waste of time, but the odds of me successfully getting them just goes way down on the simple virtue of it's just, I don't have Treasure Hunter. There are also some trusts that offer Treasure Hunter. I do not think any of the ones that I have at the moment do. I could be wrong, but there are some that do. Now, this is where Leaping Lizzy would normally spawn. The rock lizards in this area. Now, there is actually a science to it. There's, again, it's kind of one of those things that explaining it is probably doesn't do it all the justice, but effectively, for some monsters in the game, we have what are called placeholder mobs. And so, certain monsters in this area act as a placeholder for Leaping Lizzy. If I kill those specific ones, then there's a chance that Leaping Lizzy will spawn in place of them. when they actually go to respawn. So these rock lizards, while they are the mob, I believe there's a way to track which particular one is the one you need to kill and how to, like, properly, like, get Leaping Lizzy to appear. But I don't remember well enough to, like, do that. There's some NMs where I don't remember the exact spot, but effectively by using wide scan on your map, you can determine the enemy ID of the enemy, just because certain enemy IDs always end up in the same spot on that on the wide scan map. And yeah, then you can do that to track them. Again, I don't remember exactly the science behind it, but the big thing is I need to get some dagger skill, yeah. I don't mind these things living a little bit because I really do need the dagger skill. Like, I'm flying by here, and as much as I don't really mind that because I can get some objectives done, and those objectives are gonna go a long way, even though these enemies are worth really little EXP. Like, these are really not worth killing. They are finishing my objectives, and my objectives are leveling me. So I'm already up to, 6,000 Sparks of Eminence, so that's a few shields already, so I could get some gil if I really needed it. I'm getting closer and closer to Aparuru being able to be summoned, and again, Aparuru is going to be a mainstay. So these are things that you can kind of compound on top of each other. Don't feel bad if you're playing and you're doing something that's not necessarily ideal, right? Like, I'm presenting you kind of these almost ideal circumstances and like, oh, you should do this and then that. It doesn't really matter enough for you to care, in all honesty. If you go, oh, there's a notorious monster that drops something in this area, will it be long-term useful? Probably not in the modern age of 11. You just kind of move through levels really quick. But in terms of experiencing parts of the game that people have told you about, or if you're a returner, things that you maybe didn't do before, it's, at the end of the day, a non-factor. Like, you're not going to spend that much time doing it. There's not much to gain, and consequentially not much to lose. So if you did want to take a detour like this, then there's nothing wrong with it. The only time I would advise against things like that is realistically if you feel like you don't want to spend a lot of time playing 11. You kind of just want to experience the story and the overall experience that you won't be able to perfectly replicate from back in the day anyway. It just depends on what you're looking for out of it. And me, I'm making a video series. So if I want to stop and do something like this, then so be it, right? I'm not that far from the Dangrafwadi objective. I'm getting some other objectives done. I'm level 10, which if I went to some higher level areas and started killing stuff that was, not easy prey, like these enemies are all super easy. Most people would not recommend, farming these mobs or anything like that. I also can't help but feel like somebody else is here and I just haven't run into them, because I swear I didn't kill all these rock lizards, but I also swear they weren't here when I first started walking down the thing. I can also resummon my trust at this point. Make sure that I actually get them to level 10. Let's just kill this rock lizard and that vulture first. You can see that the Uriel blade is not really one-shotting things anymore, and that's very much because these enemies are just a slightly higher level than the other monsters, and so they're just not, they just don't die in one hit, effectively. No big deal. So /refa all, and there's something else I need to talk about, will desummon my trust. And then I can resummon them. You can make a macro for this. I can pull up the macro menu for you real quick so you can see it. There is another player here. Okay. I thought so. I was like, I swear these things, this person might be doing the same thing. In which case, kudos to them. We saw a lot of new players popping up in the last video. More than I expected. In fact, it is a Wednesday night as I'm recording this. And there are currently 1,450 players. That's more than I remember. If you recall, at the start of the last video, I stated that how many people I expected to be online just from experience. Oh, I think they see me. Yeah. Yeah, I think they are doing it. So, trick if you want to see what level somebody is. You do /C, yeah. They're, I think they are doing it. Oh, wait, they already know who I am. Didn't expect that to get around that quickly. How am I made this character so this wouldn't happen. Well, I mean, I guess that was kind of stupid of me to expect that I wouldn't then get recognized post video. I watched your video again earlier today. Hope you're enjoying your time. I think they're here for the boots. I think they're just distracting me. I let them have it. I've done the grind before. I can always do it in another video. I can always just get to level 15. I'm just gonna pass through. Grabbing your boots for old time's sake. And keep in mind, this is something that is a lot less. This actually used to be kind of common back in the day. Obviously not me getting stopped for, because they recognize the name. But, it would, but it seems pointless. Yeah, it's just a fun little detour. If you want them. Even they're saying it. I was just saying, yeah, it's kind of pointless to get these boots. But, like, for old time's sake. And they're like, yeah, I'm trying to get my boots, but it seems kind of pointless. It's funny. I don't know if they realize that I don't play this character outside of recording. So this entire conversation is, well, part of it. Just going to level. Now we're talking about guns. It's funny. I actually kind of resonate with that. Oh, I think they're actually leaving now. Waves goodbye. / goodbye. Now the real question is, are they lying to me? Are they actually gonna leave? Or because that means, I wonder how long they've been here then, because there's a chance that maybe they've killed Leaping Lizzy already and just didn't get it. So, there's a couple of things I've been skipping over explaining. So notorious monsters just spawn, I don't want to say randomly. All of them have different rules when it comes to what their actual spawn condition is. A request to join your party. Wait, when did they do that? You've received a request to join your party. How does that... okay, that's new to me. I think maybe they did that by accident? Do they mean to add me to their friends list? I'm not sure. But all of them have different rules. Some of them have very strict spawn conditions and spawn locations and spawn parameters. But then there's also what's called lotteries. Lotteries are just that you kill monsters that act as placeholders, as I'm doing right now with these rock lizards. And randomly, after a certain period of time has passed, there's a potential that they can spawn. So lotteries, even within lottery spawns, there are different rules. Like some of them can straight up respawn like 10 to 15 minutes apart from the last time they spawned. There's another player here. Look at all these new players. Oh. No worries. They apologize for the inviting to the party thing. Yeah, there's a lot of new players on Bahamut right now. Wow. A lot more than I expected. Anyway, yeah. So sometimes they can just rapidly like spawn again. Like, oh, they're killed, they spawn again. They're killed, they spawn again. And there are others that, like, there's a minimum amount of time before the respawn. There's, like, they can go, like, 6, 7, 8 hours without spawning. And Leaping Lizzy's kind of in that category where, while I could be here and kill and nobody else could be trying to spawn or kill Leaping Lizzy, it could still take a very long time for Leaping Lizzy to appear because it's a lottery spawn. And so whenever you're thinking of going after a notorious monster, whether again it be for old time's sake or because you just, you know, whatever, you heard it was the fun thing to do, so you did it. Keep that in mind. The spawn conditions, any tricks that help spawn them, they're all very important towards how you actually manage your time while you're on the game. Like I said, what I'm doing right now, I wouldn't recommend doing it. I wouldn't recommend spamming easy prey monsters just to like get these objectives done at this level, because with your trusts you really can tackle much stronger opponents. But do these types of things if you just want to. Like that person was like, oh, you know, I kind of want the boots, but it's maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should go do something else. Let's just go level or something. You know, like they reconsidered their options. There's a lot of rock lizards up here. So I'm probably not going to do this for too long. And yes, I know what you're thinking, like, oh, but as soon as you stop, it's going to spawn, right? That's how they get you. That's how they get you. Yeah, so without remembering how all the placeholder stuff works exactly, I can at least get the objectives done here and then move on. I think that other rock lizard's too far up to actually be a placeholder. Although you never know. Leaping Lizzy can go pretty far back, if I recall. So I keep checking the wide scan because when Leaping Lizzy appears, it'll appear on the wide scan. So as long as I'm like constantly checking it, there's a pretty decent chance that if it spawns, I will see it spawn. I'm also level 11, and I don't know if I just got level 11 from that Records of Eminence. No, I almost got level 12 from that Records of Eminence. And then that gets that one done. Now I'm level 12. I think I picked up... I thought I picked up another weapon last week. I know I picked up the head key. I could have swore I picked up a higher tier weapon. No, I guess not. It's not a big deal. I think I also mentioned that a lot of that low level equipment, it's really like your trusts really do carry you. Plus, you know, if you're new, you'll have the headpiece, you'll have the body piece, which will go a long way. So don't worry too much about it. Now, I also had one for birds, but I do need to keep killing these rock lizards if I do want Leaping Lizzy potentially. And the vermin is also not a bad idea. Still don't have access. So it will take a little while for Aparuru to rear her head. It's not... I forgot, I think it's like 5,000 accolades or something. I'd have to look it up. It's been too long since I did it manually. Oh, those don't count as vermin. Alright, so I'll kill the vultures. There we go. Yeah, I'll probably do like another maybe couple of laps. See if Leaping Lizzy shows up, and if not, no big deal. I should probably just wait for a full respawn, go into Dangerfwadi, and then see. I don't remember where Leaping Lizzy shows up on the actual wide scan as well. Like, again, I'm pretty sure that Leaping Lizzy's ID is checkable. I think, you know what I'm recalling? Okay, I'm trying to do this from memory. So you see those 4 rock lizards that were right next to each other on the list? I think I've moved too far away. I think it said that if your wide scan is big enough for the full area, there's like a group of 4 rock lizards that appear, and I think it's the 4th one. I have like a vague recollection of some sort of weird way of figuring that out. I'm almost certain it's something in the vein of that. That it's like, but that's only if you can wide scan the entire region. There's 5. Maybe it's not 4. Oh, so we just got a new challenge to vanquish beasts. These aren't beasts. These are lizards. I'm fairly certain that does not hit the same category. Unless I am misremembering. Oh, so there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about earlier that I've been kind of just ignoring, but I'm sure you're wondering about if you've never seen this before. So there's treasure chests dropping from enemies, and the different coffers basically have different objectives that are required to open them. They can contain temporary items that you can use while you're leveling in the area for that moment, or they can contain permanent, like they can just contain normal items. It's not like the end of the world if you want to stop and like try to do some of them. It can be kind of fun to guess the numbers or just grab the items and use them. It's not a big deal. But general rule of thumb is most people ignore them. They just don't do anything worth enough for you to stop killing enemies. A lot of that is because of trusts. With all the trusts around, the fact that they will effectively just obliterate groups of enemies like you see them doing. Like, why stop and get like a temporary item or stop and get whatever, right? Like, why bother when your trusts are literally going to obliterate everything? So that's just like a do it if you're kind of just too tempted. But I think even amongst the curious, you won't last very long doing it. You'll probably stop doing it pretty quickly. I just can't imagine most people, again, slowing down their leveling just for the sake of trying that. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't even see people in the open world, like other new players, really do it very often. Sometimes you catch a few people doing it, but that's really it. I used to really like doing it when they were like newer to the game, when, you know, we didn't have trusts obliterating everything. But I didn't really care about leveling speed as much. It was just kind of nice to have like the security of the items, because I was normally killing stuff that was like a little harder. I very often like to, even while leveling, solo like toughs. It depended on the job, obviously, but I would solo stuff that was usually considered not a great idea. There were a lot of job combinations you could do to do some wacky stuff. Black mages soloing. Even while leveling, black mage soloing became not that uncommon of a sight. But, you know, Beastmaster was very popular for it. Puppet Master. We did also have our Adventuring Fellows, which changed that dynamic a decent bit as well. Nobody uses them anymore, but Adventuring Fellows were kind of like the precursor to trusts. They were these NPCs that you could bring out for like, you know, 30-something count. Like, depended on what level they were, but that you could bring them out for like a bunch of encounters per day. And they were just an NPC party member. They weren't very good. You know, you kind of had to baby them, and you had to do content that was relative to their level. So you couldn't just like, the trusts match your level. The Adventuring Fellow was like its own little separate mini game where you had to like level them up and do individual quests with them. It was fine. A lot of people really enjoyed it, but they don't have any value nowadays. Like, unless you really want to do those storylines, which they're not like anything special, I don't think, at the very least. So, you know, I'm not gonna recommend that you do them. But yeah, very, very different times, I guess is all I'm trying to say. Very, very different times. Okay, how long have I been recording? I've already been recording for about half an hour, and I haven't even done the Dangerfwadi mission, which is the bare minimum of what I wanted to do today. That is kind of Final Fantasy XI in a nutshell. You log in to do something completely unrelated, and get nowhere. To be fair, I feel like that's just gaming nowadays. I do that with other games too. It's hardly exclusive to MMOs or Final Fantasy, but it happens. And again, it would be smarter for me to be level 15 here anyway. So like doing this at level 12 going on 13 is just, it's just pure curiosity. I don't remember how I leveled to 15. So I think the last several times I've done this video, this type of video idea, like when I did it in 2014, I'm trying to remember if we had like bonus EXP. I don't think we did. I don't think we had bonus EXP. So funny, there's a different Notorious monster up. That's up most of the time, named Tokoko. I don't even remember what it drops, but it's a bird. I contemplated killing it on the way here. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to kill Tokoko. I'm not going to spend my time doing that. It's kind of tempting now because, you know, Leaping Lizzy's not showing their face. So, and I have no idea if that person actually spent time killing Leaping Lizzy. So, it may very well just not be worth the time. Also, I just realized there's no way all the rock lizards wouldn't be on this list because my wide scan can hit the entire spawn point. I have to be like up here, I think, to do it. But it can hit the entire spawn area. I can see everything here. There was one more rock lizard up here, wasn't there? Oh yeah, at the very top. Still don't know if that one's even one of the spawns, or if I don't think it's a placeholder. I'm almost certain that I remember that placeholder rule correctly. Almost certain. Definitely wouldn't bet money on it being correct. But I think I'm gonna let all the rock lizards respawn and then dip out. Listen, I gave it the college try. All right. I don't feel bad giving it the college try. The average monster has like anywhere from like a 7 to like 15-minute-ish respawn. It varies heavily. So I don't really remember. I think these lizards respawn every like 9 minutes, something in that capacity. I don't remember it being that long. Again, there are some enemies that spawn like they have really long respawns. And a lot of the time, those crazy long respawns are usually because they specifically are a placeholder for something like a notorious monster. You'll just like see them spawn in and you'll know, okay, the notorious monster didn't spawn, and then it's just kind of over. So I think these 3 rock lizards are all part of the crew. The thing is I always remember being really bad at reading this list, so not remembering where Leaping Lizzy is on the list, which is something that old me would have had memorized. Like, oh, this exact spot on my wide scan is where Leaping Lizzy will spawn if they're actually up. Like, I would have known that back in the day. That's old me. Yeah, it's not these 4 rock lizards. I really want to remember. I hope I'm right about remembering the way the placeholder is determined. Because I know it's something like that. I don't think we're going to get it here. And again, that's very, very dependent on that other person might have killed it while, you know, I was on my way here. Because I noticed that there weren't very many up, and then they left. I don't know if they left because they thought I was... Oh, there she is. Alright, yeah, so Leaping Lizzy right here. Should be fine. Dude, it's so funny. In the 2014 video, I spent like 2 hours getting the like level 15, getting the Leaping Lizzy, didn't get the boots, and I was just like cursing the game. I was like genuinely upset because I was like, come on, after all this time, you're still gonna deny me? Come on, game. What's actually really nice about Leaping Lizzy, on like a completely unrelated note, Leaping Lizzy, as you can see, actually survives a decent amount of time. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage here. So, looks like somebody else is looking for the same thing. Unfortunate. And away they go. I'm sorry. I didn't think anyone else would care. Because they're alive for so long, I can actually get some decent dagger skill ups. And, oh, I got him! Sweet! Boots! Alright, let's go. I actually am so shocked without the thing. So yeah, these boots, bounding boots. So, bit of a background story. Leaping boots is what Leaping Lizzy originally dropped. Now, these could be sold on the auction house and were incredibly expensive. I know on one of my servers, it was like 300k, and on the other one, it was like 700k, and then obviously it would change price, you know, depending on demand and supply, and, you know, the usual marketplace. But because it was an open world boss and it spawned, and you know, it can only, like, most, on average, it spawns like once every 2 to 3 hours. Like, that's the average, right? RMTs, or real money traders, and bots would effectively come here and they would just swamp the place, right? If the bots were either all working together or all competing against each other, but they would become pretty much the main source of obtaining them, which would, unless you were very, very lucky, because let's be honest, if that person was 5 seconds later, they would have gotten that Leaping Lizzy. And when you can imagine there's like 8 to 10 people here, if Leaping Lizzy doesn't spawn next to you, the odds of you being the one to get it is basically 0. So getting a pair fairly was nearly impossible. So you had to buy them most of the time. So this was the case with a lot of overworld bosses. What they did is they took all of those items and put them into instanced content that you can earn currencies, and in my particular case, I have them. These Beastman seals right here. You take some Beastman seals, you buy an item with them, and you use that item to enter a fight. And within that fight, there's a chance that that item can drop, like the leaping boots, for example. And they replaced all of the overworld bosses with rare EX versions. Basically, you can only hold one, and they can't be sold. And the bounding boots are that. So we did get the bounding boots. It only took me one try this time. So, you know, cheers to me. But yeah, that's a big thing. Before that, they used to be botted nonstop. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have enough conquest points for a... What are they called? For a warp ring yet. So I am going to have to walk back from here. I could just die also. Alright, I was not standing close enough. Oh, there we go. So I believe that should have done the trick. Red is an acidity tester given its color changed from blue to red. Yeah. So the whole point of the quest was to get shot up by that geyser. And I had a blue acidity tester, and then it changes it to red. Now, it doesn't tell you anywhere on the screen that that's happened, but that's how you know. Now, I mentioned that I don't have a warp ring. And that means I can't just warp back. I could have bought a warp scroll also. But Final Fantasy XI has something called blood warping, where people just die to warp. Now, back in the day, this used to be very costly because experience points were much more valuable. Nowadays, master points are valuable, and you wouldn't want to blood warp with those. But regular old low-level EXP, not a big deal. So these goblins up here are level like 100 and something. So they will absolutely murder me. Watch. I got an evasion skill up. Now, I don't remember what level you start losing EXP now. You used to start losing EXP, I think, at level 4. It might be higher now. I guess we'll find out. We'll just take a look. Yeah, I didn't lose any. I don't think I lost anything from that. I actually forgot the value already. But if I did lose something, it was almost nothing. And it took me right back to town. So now we can go back to the metalworks, turn those in, and that's a quick way to save time before you have the warp ring. Again, EXP is so easy to get now that death warping, while largely unnecessary because of the warp ring, is not something to be concerned about. So just bear that in mind if you find that you just need to get back from someplace. It's not a bad time save. Also, something I forgot to do while I was in Dangrafwadi. I was so focused on explaining it, and I have to go back past Dangrafwadi. Like, I will have to go past there again. So I'll stop in and do it. Don't forget to check for survival guides. The books that you can teleport to, you want to grab every single one of those you can. Every city-state has them. A lot of open-world zones have them. Every time you are approaching a zone line, I would look for a book, because whether or not you know ahead of the time if there will be one, if you zone, it's worth checking to see if there's one nearby. Because those are other teleport factors. Like, instead of dying there, it's good that I use it as an example because it is something you can do, but the book would have served the trick as well, and would have been no problem at all using the book.
Ah, you're back. Let's see it. Red as I thought. Very strong reactions, too. Then we should be able to use it, but we must make sure to minimize the ecological repercussions of such work.
Busy as always, Chief.
Volker, you old dog. When did you get back?
Just recently, sir. I had business in the metalworks today, so I thought I'd drop by.
Yeah, you must have some great stories to tell. Come on, out with them.
Chief, were you not speaking to this person before I interrupted?
Oh, right, sorry. It's been a long time since he and I have had a chance to talk.
Let me introduce myself. I am Volker, captain of the Mithril Musketeers. You must be an adventurer. You're new to Bastok too, are you not? I hope you do well. Bastok is in need of good people.
Yeah, for your second mission, you done very well. I'll tell the guard at the gatehouse myself.
Well, I should be going. I'll drop by again later, Chief. I must go lend an ear to the President's gripes again.
Ah, come on. He needs support, especially from you. Might not look like it, but I'm sure he's doing his best. I'm sorry to have kept you here so long. Thanks again, and good work. Oh, and I might need your help again soon, so stay in touch.
Sorry, he's all teeth. So, the next mission, 1-3. There are a couple of ways for me to get to the location that I need to farm those items. And technically, I don't need to farm those items. But I'm going to guess that I'm going to want to farm those items. It's not a bad idea anyway for the sake of exploration. For me to go farm the items I need from this quest. I could get all the way up to like level 25, 30 doing this mission if I really, really wanted to. Although I don't know that I really want to right now. So, let's head over to Malduk. And fetishism. So, I need to hunt the quadavs and bring him back a fetish head, torso, arms, and legs. So, back in the day, this was a nothing burger quest. You just go to the auction house, you buy these items. There's no big deal. The quadavs that drop these became kind of an important commodity at some point. Because there was a craft. I mean, I think it's still there. I don't know if it's the most valuable thing, but there's a crafting item, or an item that you get that's for crafting that requires you to farm those quadavs pretty much non-stop. And so the monsters that actually drop the fetishes, or the ones with the best drop rates, I should say, were botted to all hell. And so what ended up happening is that the fetishes went up in price to like 10, 15, 20k. And while, yes, you saw I have enough sparks to buy some shields, realistically, you kind of want to go there anyway. There's a home point there. There's a survival guide there. Like, there's reasons to go there. But the big thing was that as a new player, it just kind of sucked to need those things. And I'm trying to remember where they are here. They're not Beastman made. They are Beastman items, but they're not Beastman made. I don't remember where they are in the list. Are they alchemy items? It might be alchemy items. Unfortunately, there's no search. So this is when we pull up our trusty second page over here. Quadav fetish torso. There we go. Pull up the page. It is beast made. Okay. I guess I just must have gone past it. Let me it's because there's the word quadav isn't a part of it, so I scrolled past it. Yeah, so see, 10k a pop, 10k a pop. I've seen them be like 60k a pop. So 50k gil. Okay, to be honest, not a lot. Do you want to spend 50k gil as a brand new player? No, you kind of don't. It just kind of sucks that there's that crossover between the two, because it's just not something you want to deal with as a player. Now, to be fair, there are a ton of quadavs, and most of them drop the items that you need, even the really low-level ones. So, at this point, what we are going to do is, we're going to go back to Dangrafwadi and actually get the manual that I mentioned. But we're going to kill every quadav that we see on the way. That's a really simple way to kind of make sure we make some progress. Now, did I get any from all the mobs I killed? No, I didn't really kill that many of them, so it's not that surprising. But you can see our inventory is filling up real quick. And this is the thing that fills your inventory. You got flintstone, silver ore, copper ore. I'm not going to say these items are useless. I'm going to say that the odds that you're going to need these items for their intended uses most of the time are quite low. The problem is there's a lot of quests in this game, and it's very easy to overlook this fact unless you have like super foresight into things. Sometimes they just need random items. Like, you could be like doing a really important mission, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, bring me a flintstone. And you're like, well, I mean, I've thrown away 1 billion flintstones. I mean, I guess I could bring you another. But, yeah, it's kind of annoying. So, something else from earlier. Look, another new player. Dude, there's new players all over the place. It's great. Oh, I also need to see if I have Aparuru are available now. So, I mentioned earlier the records of eminence for speaking in a Unity. Now, I keep the Unity chat off 99% of the time. Because, well, A, nobody ever talks in it, and B, when I'm streaming, I usually just don't want anything popping up in the chat. But just, it's harmless to leave it on. It's not that big a deal to turn it off. I will say that if you turn off your Unity chat, on Bahamut and Asura specifically, there's a chance that you can't get back in. If that happens, literally just click inactive and active over and over again until you don't get an error message, and you should be fine. So I just have to chat once. So I literally go /Unity or /U and go that, and then inactive. I also did it because I didn't want Mr. Happy popping up and then getting messages. But yeah, that's there's a Records of Eminence for that. 500 EXP, some accolades. You know, there's no reason not to do it. And I do have Apple Reviews now. I did also forget to actually summon my trusts, so I am going to have to just kill this thing the old-fashioned way. Fortunately, I need the dagger skill-ups anyway. I'm only at dagger level 16, and I promise you, that is not enough. So in case you're wondering, the weapon skill-ups increase your attack, they increase your accuracy, and they teach you new weapon skills. So it's very important to keep up to date on all of those. Now, I'm not level 15 yet, so the fetish items are not going to be more common, unfortunately. Also, you know, it actually doesn't make sense for me to go to Dangrafwadi first. So, I have to pass by Dangrafwadi when I go to Valkyrim Dunes eventually. So I think what we should do is make our way directly to Palborough Mines, kill every quadav on the way. South Gustaberg, North Gustaberg. I'm sure if I pull up the page for the fetish items that it'll tell me specific ones have like better drop rates, or even amongst like, let me look over. So amber quadavs, it says drop the torso, for example. Let me see about the other pieces. Does a young quadav drop any of them? That's a good question, right? These are the things that can potentially save you some time instead of just killing every single one. No, it looks like amber quadav is like the lowest level one that drops it. I think that makes sense. I think an amber quadav is one of the casters, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a red mage. Yeah, it's pretty much all the red mage ones that drop it. Old quadav, brass. Veterans, I think, are paladins. So the ones that cast spells, for the most part. Black mages, red mages. Yeah, so that's useful information to have. It's very easy to be told quadav. Like, let's say somebody's giving you secondhand advice, like I'm doing right now. And I tell you, oh, just kill quadavs. They drop it. That's not accurate. It's very easy to kind of fall into that in Final Fantasy XI because there are different families or different subtypes within families of monsters, and they usually do segment drops depending on the subtype that they are. For example, the casters can drop spell scrolls, which if you plan on leveling a caster, can be incredibly valuable to you, just so you don't have to spend that little bit of extra gil. To be fair, though, most of the spells that you'll be spending gil on are going to be the ones that can't be gotten off monsters. Like, those are going to be the most expensive ones. Or the ones that come from, like, really high-tier battlefields, but are also sold on vendors, but the vendors sell them for very expensive amounts. And the auction house does, too. There are some cases where that's going to happen. But for the low-level spells, for the most part, it can be nice to just be able to target something. Like, oh, this monster sometimes drops, like, a random, like, leg piece or boots. Like, it's like a vanilla piece, but, like, I'm using the level 1 stuff that I'm using right now, so would it really hurt? No. I got a bind spell off one of them from the amber quadavs earlier. You know what's also kind of tempting? There's a samurai sword that could be gotten here at the top of that mountain. In fact, I think there might be 2 NMs. I think there's a B NM up there, too, that drops a low-level dagger. Might not be up there. Might be someplace else. It's been a while. But I seem to recall a really low-level dagger that was pretty good. It's just slipping my mind. But you're going to see me dropping a ton of items. If you remember to sell these items when you get back to town, I mean, it doesn't hurt to pick up a few extra gil. But comparatively to, like, selling the shields, which are going to be worth a significant amount, I just can't be asked to sell, like, copper ore for 1 gil or silver ore for, like, 3 gil. Like, whatever they're worth, right? And, or to, like, wait. A big thing with the auction house, and this is going to sound really silly, But the auction house only holds 7 items at a time. And until you either rescind your items, they time out because your auction house listings can just straight up time out and get mailed back to you. Or it actually sells when you clear the menu. You can't sell more than 7 items at a time. And so when I think of items that I want to sell, Bedrock Berry. Who the heck is Bedrock? Oh, that's a worm. I don't remember what that drops, but I'm going to leave him alone. That's not the enemy I was talking about with the samurai sword. That's what is it called? It's not Padfoot, is it? Might be Padfoot. I don't remember. No, Padfoot's in Blueface Meadows. I don't remember. There's a sheep. Maybe it is Padfoot. I don't know. I might be able to see it. I guess Summoners. What is that? Part of the New Year event? Yeah, with wide scan, I might be able to see it if it's up there. Not a big deal if it is or isn't. I don't care. But like, I'm trying to figure it out. I just want to know the name. That's if he's even in range of me. If he's even up. He's pretty high up the hill. He's a sheep. It's not the Fledermoss. Yeah, I don't know. There's also a potential detour I could take here. I don't remember if there is a manual. So this field manual, by the way, sometimes these field manuals are just placed out here. I was wondering if that was going to thing. And those are just like another way of taking those missions. You know, like if you want to take the little objectives that I showed you in the first part, they put a few extras. So, Palboro Mines is all the way up there to the north. There is another area that's right around here. Some of you may be familiar with it, the Movopolos. If you're someone who's been playing 14 and has kept up with the Moblin lore, that is where the Moblins are from. Now, that is way too high a level for me at this point. But I don't remember if there is a book there or not. I think there, by the way, I think there's another NM that's like in the exact area I'm in right now. I think it's of another vulture type, like the Tokoko that I didn't show you, but I'm telling you Tokoko was a vulture type. Yeah, so here's Movopolos, I believe. Oh, wait, either this is Movopolos or this is Gooskin. This isn't Palboro. Whatever this is, it's not Palboro. I'm trying to remember which one this is. Because I remember the fastest way I used to take the Movopolos. This is Old Ten Movopolos. Okay. I just want to see if there is a book here. I'll have to come back here for Chains of Promethea. There's also some decent leveling spots here, in all honesty. There's the goblin footprint. And there is a sturge. I don't see a book. I do see a book. I don't know if the sturge is aggro. If they do, I'm dead. You know what? It's not that important. Okay, but I kind of want to know. What level are these sturges anyway? Way too high a level, I know that. Let's do this. Sturge. So there is actually another solution for this, but I didn't bring any with me. There is a vendor that sells sneak oils, and those bats would be... they would aggro sound. Olton Movopolos. Behavior. This monster is passive. Okay, so the sturges are passive. What about the dark bats? Are the dark bats passive? The dark bats are passive. Well, hold on. That's not the Olton. Okay, it says that these mobs are all passive. So if I die... Okay, we're good. Now we can hit the survival guide, and we have a quick teleport back here later. Perfect. Just a fun little detour. If you're starting in Bastok, I figured I might as well check. Because it is useful to grab any of those. Like I said, this is a Chains of Promethea expansion area, and you will come here for part of the story. There's different entrances as well. There's like shortcuts to get through it. There's a whole bunch of ways to get around in the game now that... I'm not saying you'll need this survival guide. I'm saying it's good to have. And I think this is going to be one that you will probably use at some point. from part of the story. There's like there's another entrance like over there, which at worst case scenario you could use this to get over there. But there's the Unity teleports are a very popular way of getting around. So remember I mentioned those wanted encounters earlier where the Unities like let you challenge bosses to get that upgradable loot. People also just straight up use the teleports that are offered as ways of getting around. And so you might just use those to teleport instead of using like a home point or a survival guide. There's also like Void Watch teleports, and then individual expansions sometimes have individual teleports. There's teleport spells that take you to locations as long as you're attuned with them. There's a whole bunch. There's so many methods of getting around now. It can honestly, as nice as it is, sometimes it's hard to remember which teleports lead where and which one's the fastest, and you know, when do I have to walk and when is there a shortcut? And there are quite a few spots where even through all of the shortcuts, there's a decent amount of walking. But and some of them require you to have been to a place first before you can use the teleport. Regardless of like what the method is, whatever the method that is closest just may not be the one you hoped that it was. So yeah, there's a lot of facets to it. Now, I'm a little scared. This video is at an hour long already. And I don't have any fetishes. There's an Amber Quadav over there. That being said, the odds of the Amber Quadav dropping it are not very high. Also, I'm about to be in Palborough. I might as well just wait. Now, another thing that you should do if you are going to be doing things like this, we're going to want to look at these conflict missions. So I haven't had conflict missions active up to this point, but these are another thing. If you plan on staying in an area for a while, you have no reason not to put these on. Like, I should have put these on when I was camping Leaping Lizzy. There's one for killing the notorious monster in the area. Oh, Carnero's in South Gustaberg. So what's the one in North? Carnero's the one that drops the samurai sword. Not... North Gustaberg must be the bee. That drops like a dagger or something. North Gustaberg... What is the North... No, the North Gustaberg one... I don't remember what the North Gustaberg one is. I remember killing it, though. But Carnero is the one that drops the thing I was talking about. But, yeah, like, kill the notorious monster one isn't important to take. I wouldn't worry about that one at all. Like, yeah, I happen to... You cannot summon avatars here. Wait, where did I go? You can absolutely summon avatars here. Okay. It was still zoning me in, and I've never recall getting the message you cannot summon avatars here. Or maybe I was too close to the zone line. I don't know. I have never gotten that message summoning mobs, summoning trusts in here. So I was mildly concerned. In all honesty. Okay, so we need things like Amber Quadavs, Onyx Quadavs. That's what we're looking for. Also, as I was explaining on our way in, and then subsequently didn't do, region, look for the region you're killing mobs in, and set this. It's just more rewards for what you're already doing. There's no reason not to do it. Alright, let me get the list of mobs open. Greater Quadavs, Onyx. So realistically, we want to go up to the higher floors. Now, there are two ways to do that. We can walk up to the higher floors, or we can take the elevator. There's an elevator that's not too hard to navigate towards, but in fact, I know how to get to the elevator off the top of my head without a map. I'm actually not as familiar with how to naturally climb this location, so this should be interesting. But there's different tiers. So if you take the elevator, it takes you all the way up to the top. Now, at the top, there are a mix of different levels of monsters. But for the most part, you're actually going to be looking at... Oh, there's the legs. All right, so already at one. The mobs up there are a little stronger than I actually want. So, ideally, we want to work our way up, naturally, like I'm doing right now, and kill the mobs that are kind of in the middle. I'll point out when we get to them, but when we start seeing greater Quadavs and Onyx Quadavs, that's when we're really looking at those higher level mobs. Now, the pit hares are also beasts, thankfully. So, we can get those all along the way. So you can see we got a little bit of a winding path here. No big deal. We got another amber quadav. The ones with the staves are a good minimum. Yeah, so the greater quadavs are like levels 10 to 16, and the onyx quadavs are like also 10 to 16. So yeah, we're looking at the ones that are in the 10 to 16 range, but the mobs in here do go up to like the mid 20s. So if we go really high up, now we have the head. We're doing pretty good. See, this is a big reason why starting as thief is not a bad idea. And these things drop tourmaline rings. Like, I don't care about the like 2 wind resist, but yeah. I'm sorry, that wasn't from them. That was from the conflict Palvero mine, which again also gives equipment. So, you know, if you just want to get a couple little extras, it doesn't hurt. Now, unfortunately, like I said, I don't have a great memory of how to climb Palvero mines naturally, so I am really relying on these amber quadavs in all honesty. And I've already gotten 3 pieces. I wonder if they ever changed the drop rates on these. I'm actually shocked that I've gotten 3 of the 4. So I did this on stream one time on another character that was kind of like it was part of what I do is called count up, where I play through all the Final Fantasies in order. And I did do one for 11 where I had people, you know, either gifting subscriptions or tipping or whatever to get me to do more and more Final Fantasy 11. Hold on, I'm not going to kill him yet. And I had terrible luck. I think I was on Warrior, though, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter if I'm on Thief yet, because I'm not level 15. Until I have the ability to get the draw. I thought I got it already for a second. I saw the text fly by, and I was like, what? The pit hairs were also counting towards vanquished beasts, by the way, which is nice. This does not feel like the right way. You're not supposed to go past Cave Fungar, I'm pretty certain, to get to the higher floors. So I think it's the other way. I'll take a peek. Doesn't hurt getting a little lost. There's an amber quadav in here anyway, so maybe I'll get the last one off him. Funnily enough, you know what would actually be kind of a good idea? There's a home point on the top floor. If I could somehow get all the way to that home point, it would actually be really good. The big problem being that that home point is behind level like 20 plus mobs. But those are also the mobs that are usually, that were back in the day botted. I don't know if they still are. Oh, and here we go. Now we're at Greater and Onyx quadavs. So these mobs are decent challenge. And both of these have a chance of dropping. So really hoping. It would really help if I stopped missing, because I really want these skill ups. I got level 14 at least. Wait, did I just see another greater quadav? Did I target it through the wall? I think I did. So it would not be a bad idea for me to resummon my trusts right now. I'm not going to, just because, whatever. I've already got 3 of the 4. How bad could it really be? Please don't let this video be an hour longer from here. I think veterans also drop. Yes, veterans also drop. Wow, my paralysis is really kicking my butt here. There we go. Gotta get them skill ups. Watch, this thing also applies poison. Against a paladin mob like this, not the worst thing. Let's see. Oh no, I am actually on the top floor now. I'm pretty sure. Yes, I am. Now, I try to remember what the layout of the top floor is. This thing even has decent challenge. My gear is Garbo, so. Yeah, so this leads into the more dangerous parts. But the mobs don't become more dangerous until I cross a certain threshold. Most of these mobs are actually pretty reasonable and are all the mobs that I need. In fact, I'm pretty sure the elevator would have taken me up to these mobs and not the level 25 mobs. I know the way to the elevator from here off the top of my head, so I can go check. Basically, from when we entered, you take the first left, you follow the curve, you go straight. If you go like 2 rooms, make a right, and then you just follow the path and you're at the elevator. This is where having the garbage gear that is really becoming noticeable. Garbage gear and garbage dagger skill. I'm actually really hoping for some dagger skill ups. Especially because when these mobs are idling, a lot of the times they'll buff themselves. So this guy probably has protect and shell and maybe like something else. He's trying to cast Aqua Veil on himself right now. He's not going to get to do it, but you know. I guess the real question is, do people on Bahamut bot the more dangerous mobs? And the fact that there is, those mobs aren't where they would be. That's not really. They would be in a slightly different spot. I like how on the lowest level mobs, I managed to get 3 of the drops. And now that I'm on the higher level mobs, no shows. And I don't think either of my dudes here have a weapon skill that combos with mine. So weapon skills can chain together to make something called a skill chain. And it actually is very, very powerful. Something you should absolutely be trying to do, especially while leveling. Especially if you have Shantoto 2 in the party, because you will magic burst and obliterate them. So remember when I said Valeniral is an AoEer? So what I would recommend doing if a mob is in the middle of a pack like this, if you can separate them like this from other mobs nearby, it's not a bad idea. Because I don't want him pulling all those rabbits too. I don't mind if he does this, because now he's going to just AoE these ones and it'll be fine. But I didn't want him doing that. See, I'm actually doing 0 against this guy sometimes. Valeniro still falls at MP, so it's not a big deal. Aparuru is running a little low. What is my dagger skill? 0 again could be a product of the fact that they have buffs. I mean, I also have a level 1 dagger. My dagger skill's not capped. There's a lot of reasons, but they also do have buffs. Every 1 accuracy and 1 attack actually goes a really long way. Not to mention, these mobs are also tough, which is significantly higher than... Not all of them are. They range from like decent challenge to tough. This one is also tough. But they're worth a lot more. Like I'm getting, you know, I got 400 from that. I get way more skill ups like this as well. So it's actually kind of a really good thing that I'm fighting a mob that is as high of a level as this. It comes with a lot of perks. Unfortunately, one of those perks does not appear to be the last fetish item. Because I am still 3 out of 4. Uh-oh. I'm going to jinx myself on that one. Okay, so we're going to start making our way towards the elevator. Yeah, see how they just casted Protect? They'll just do that when they're idling. I think these ones are also going to be slightly lower level. The ones closer to the elevator than the ones closer to the end of Palboro Mines. There's also a notorious monster that I could spawn. That's not too far from here. See, Valeniro's not even worried about his own MP. The man does not care at all. Like, he's like, I don't need it. He was actually about to cast on himself right there. Now, another thing that it can be very useful with Ref All is not just actually resetting their levels. It's also resetting their MP. Also, they'll learn, sometimes they'll learn new skills and stuff. They might get something that they only get from like a certain level and beyond. Like Abaruru is completely out of MP, so if I Ref All and then resummon them, then she'll be back with full MP, which is incredibly useful. Until then, Valeniro is just going to take care of himself. At some point, she'll get a weapon skill that lets her restore her own. But Valinirel has built-in auto-refresh. So when I say he won't run out... Oh, okay. And we got the last fetish piece. Okay, so ideally, we would fight our way out. I think I tabbed out and totally forgot. We would fight our way out. Well, there's actually multiple ways out. It would be smart for me to go to where the home point is, but far from my only option, because there is also a boat that leads back into the Zerun mines, and that boat is actually a part of the Dark Knight quest once you're level 30. So the elevator is literally around the corner this way, and the boat is also around that way. Now, the only concern with actually going to this is looking at the map. All of the high-level mobs are up, which means that this place is not the bot central that I had originally thought. So I think the play is to just leave and not worry about the home point. It's not that hard to get back through here. Again, we have a... did I get a survival guide? Is there a survival guide at the entrance? I don't know. Either way, it doesn't take that long to get here, get back, get through. I might have broken one of my own rules. I was so focused on how lost I was going to get. But with the elevator, it's not that big a deal. We could take the survival guide to Olden Movopolis, walk up here, and then take the elevator up, and we're basically right back here. Wouldn't be very long at all. So we're going to get... we're just going to get our way out of here. And if you wanted to hunt another notorious monster, there's one that can spawn in this room. I think I don't remember. It's not the Onyx quadav. It's either the veteran or the greater. I think the veteran is... No. The greater quadav is the placeholder, I'm pretty certain. I'm almost certain it's the greater quadav. That's the placeholder mob. So you just kill them and then wait. There's also another one that can spawn a little bit further south, but it's in the higher level area. So yeah, like if I went the other way, like if I kept going down that hallway, I'd end up on that side of the fence. And the elevator is literally right here. I'll just show it to you real quick. I'm not gonna take it back down. That would be stupid. But yeah, here's the elevator. You just step onto it, flip the switch, and it'll take you back to the first floor. We went the more scenic route. But, I mean, the elevator is kind of scenic. It's only the second elevator we've seen in the whole game. My dagger skill's up to 26. You know what's actually kind of nice? So, oh, now I have Treasure Hunter, by the way. Now I am level 15. A little late, but hey, I didn't end up needing it. I forgot what I was going to say. I need to eat. It's like 8 p.m. and I haven't eaten dinner yet. Once I get back to town, we'll wrap it up, and I'm making tacos. And let's go over here. So, in order to get back, we just step on one of the boats. This one's here right now. And we pull the lever. It'll lock us in place and take us away. Any day now. It's going, I promise. It's really old technology. So you would actually, to unlock Dark Knight, you would actually take this boat. And when you do take the boat, it will put you into a cutscene when you get right here. So right here, I would get a cutscene instead of what just happened. Well, I mean, this would happen eventually, but first I would get the cutscene. And now we're free. So, one thing that I should also mention is when you are done in a zone, do not forget to remove the objective. You can only hold so many objectives in your Records of Eminence at a time. That, well, it's not really that big a deal. Like, if you forget to remove it and then you realize that it's full, it's like, oh, big whoop. You'll be like, oh, let me see what I can get rid of. You'll remember you didn't get rid of it and then move on. But it's not a bad idea to be a little proactive about it. Because I'm not going to go back to Palboro Mines anytime soon. So there's no point in me not getting rid of it. So now we can deliver the fetishes, which that went way better than I thought it was going to, in all honesty. I thought those fetishes were going to be worse. But, I mean, seriously, would I rather spend 50K or, like, actually go out and do something, right? That's how I think of it. Like, if they were 1K, 2K a piece, I would go sell an Acheron shield and, you know, call it a day. No questions asked. But, you know, not for 50K. I don't have 50K. I could make 50K, but why would I want to spend it immediately on that? I have 1,200 gil. So what? I could go sell like 3 shields right now and get like 75K approximately, and then most of it's gone. I don't want to do that. Especially if you're playing consistently enough to get the 1,000,000 gil per week. You're probably going to want to save that because there's some pretty expensive stuff when you start getting up to like level 99 that you may just want to be able to invest in immediately. So I wouldn't do that. So I forget which NPC we deliver this to. I think we deliver it to Rashid. I don't think we have to deliver it to Malduk. Find out in a second. Yep, that worked. Good. You brought all 4 pieces of the doll. I'm raising your rank to 2 for completing this mission. Congratulations. If you've been to Palboro Mines, you must now know the serious nature of the serious nature of the threat these beastmen pose to our civilization. As a Bastalker, you're expected to take on more missions and go on conquest to preserve Bastalk's brilliant future. But I cannot give you a new mission at this time. You need to collect rank points before taking on new missions. You can receive rank points by participating in conquests and donating the crystals you acquire to guards, or by undertaking missions you've previously completed. Ask the High Guard near the gatehouse if you wish to hear more about conquests. Rank 2! Welcome back. How was your battle with the quadav? Sir Iron Eater, what brings you to this area? So, what is the situation in the mines district? Sir, nothing out of the ordinary. Sir, spare me the textbook answers. That is not what I asked. You know what I speak of. The disappearance of Were. Yes, sir. I've heard that he was your mentor, that he has undertaken his journey of rebirth. My condolences. Said that he took his life all on his journey of rebirth. I did not come here to be told what I already know. I am concerned with the fear of the residents along Ore Street. Yes, sir. My apologies, sir. We will double our efforts to gather any information. Understood. I apologize for my temper. For someone once known as the Immovable Rock, it is unusual to see him so angered. Once a Gulka, always a Gulka. Because they have a bond that we humans will never understand. Setting some groundwork. Got 1,000 gil for that. Sweet. So, those crystals I've been picking up, we're now going to turn those in for rank points so we can accept the next missions. So, a couple of things. Number one, you can see at the top left we are 0 for our rank points. So, what we are going to do is trade crystals to any of the gate guards with like the IM next to their name. He will say your rank points, whatever he'll say. We filled our rank points. We now have enough to do all of the rank 2 missions. So all it took was a stack, and any excess will actually go into my conquest points, so none of it goes to waste. You can exchange the excess to get your conquest points up very quickly. You can say I have 1,900 conquest points, so let's just trade a bunch more crystals and see where that gets us. And keep in mind, you don't have to do what I'm doing right now. There's no point in doing what I'm doing right now, but also it'll help clear our inventory. If he'll even take them, he might only... Actually, you know, it's been so long, I forgot. Does he actually even take them? No, he doesn't. Yeah, so if you don't need rank points, you can't exchange them. So he didn't take any of those crystals. It's only the excess for the first bit. So I might want to sell those water crystals, save them. Whatever. I'm going to get a whole bunch more crystals regardless, so it doesn't really matter. But we now have enough to do all of the higher rank missions, but we're not done. Do not forget, when you are done with missions, that you can go into... Where is it? Combat region. Which one is it? Content. Other. I think it was tutorial, right? Achieve level 99. We are not doing that yet. Alter ego. It's nation. Oh, it's missions, right? Job levels, Unity. Which one is it? I always forget. I just did it in the last video, too. That's the embarrassing thing. Quests, artifact, quests. Oh, here we go. Missions. I just didn't scroll down far enough. So don't forget that we get some free sparks and EXP from doing that. Also 6 water crystals. Leave the menu, come back. 300 sparks, 500 EXP. Also more lightning crystals in case you didn't level enough. Now at this point, I should take Rhapsody's Vanadil. The big thing is that our next missions are going to start taking us further away. I think the next one is going to have us go to Konstadt Highlands, which is outside of North Gustaberg. And we will have to get a dim crystal. We'll have to, like, drain the energy out of a crystal. Yes, the crystal line.
You heard of a strange structure called the Crag of Dem. It is on the Konstadt Highlands, north of the Gustaberg Mountains. They say that the crystals are drained of their power if you take them to a certain section of that structure. Chief Sid is currently investigating this strange phenomenon and is asking for someone to bring back a faded crystal. Go see him for a more detailed explanation of your objectives. You want a crystal to use for this experiment? Are you not an adventurer? It should be easy for you to procure one.
Yeah, so I think we could technically go and get the crystal before doing the mission, but I'm not going to do that in this video. So we are just going to go talk to
Mr. Sid. See what he wants. He's just gonna tell us, go up to the thing, trade a crystal. It's gonna be faded.
Simple as that.
Oh, just gonna do a quick stretch.
Been sitting for like an hour. I can't wait to eat. I know I said I was going to eat right after I turned that in, but like, might as well clean up real quick. Oh, Sid. He's over here. Gonna be coming back to Sid a lot, so get used to it. Can I use those shell shields? No. If I was on a warrior, I could at least use the shell shield. No such luck. Oh, Sid.
You've been assigned to investigate the faded crystals. There are many strange phenomena associated with that place, as you've heard. I've scanned that area and I found there was a strong crystal resonance on a straight line between that structure and Juno. For now, I'm calling it the Crystal Line. Never mind, you're getting that blank expression on your face again. I'll skip the details. There are 3 places with structures where you can get faded crystals. They're shining, raised platforms called telepoints. Place a crystal on a telepoint and the crystal will be drained of its power. Do that and bring back the faded crystal. Oh, and one more thing. To put a crystal on a telepoint, use trade.
So the telepoint does serve another purpose. I'll bring this up in another video, but by attuning to the telepoint, you can also use a spell. White mages learn the spell that lets you teleport directly to it. It's not something you'll use all too often unless you happen to be playing white mage. Maybe you could sub white mage to specifically teleport, but there are books that you can teleport in the same areas, so more often than not, you'll just use the books instead of the telepoints. But I think that is a good place to end. We managed to get bounding boots. We finished all of our rank 1 missions, and we got to explore a few things while explaining a handful more things. We even got our fun little random encounter with that individual we met over by Leaping Lizzy. You should have stuck around, person. I ended up getting the boots. Maybe you would have gotten them too. But anyway, that is going to be a wrap for this week's episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy XI 2025 Edition. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we have plenty of game left. So if you look forward to Wednesdays before, you will continue to look forward to them in the future. With that, I will see you next time, and until then, take care.